One of the things that human beings hate the most is making or taking a particular decision that would eventually turn out to be terrible or to be wrong. Today, I want to address this syndrome that most of us have developed, which is the fear of making the wrong decisions. Hello guys, my name is Mimi and this is a dash of colors. Has there ever been a time in your life where you actually did something and it seems like the aftermath of such decision is forever stuck on you? I'm going to use myself for an instance and try and conclude every other thing that I'm trying to point out to you guys. I always wanted to have money. It is something that I have always said to myself growing up, that I would never ever be broke, because I like the feeling of having money. I like the feeling of helping. I like the feeling of taking care of or handling responsibilities with finance. And it's something that I really, really, really dreaded so much, that I hated so much. And it felt like every decision that I made was solely on that end result, which was to make money. And at the end of the day, I actually made a lot of financial mistakes, that I invested in things that I wasn't supposed to invest in. And at the end of the day, I had to deal with debts. I am still dealing with debts, and then so many other things that I constantly am faced with because of so many financial woes that I actually took place in. Most of us are like that. We are so engrossed with something we want to do, but we are worried about making the wrong decisions or doing something that we're not supposed to do at the end of the day. And this has a constant effect that we end up not doing anything at all. So when you're afraid of making money, when you're afraid of losing money, we do not want to take the risks in making money. I understand that my own risks was a little bit on the excess, and I ended up losing or blowing up everything that I had. But like I said in my previous episode, I am constantly learning to take the lessons from every decision. I have actually been following bibliographies of people who have actually known failure and took whatever failure and changed it into something positive for their lives. And that's exactly the kind of attitude I have towards this once failure of mine. So I'm actually pointing out the fact that we end up being stuck at a place because we do not want to make the wrong mistakes, because we do not want a situation where the actions that we take end up ruining us instead. But we need to also take up a different approach to this, and that's the approach that I read from Robin's book, Awake the Giants in You, and which is to see every decision as a potential to be great. If your plan is to be the most successful man in Nigeria, it means that you have to consistently make decisions, take actions that will get you one step closer to that thing. But the thing is, most of us, when we are making decisions, we are so rigid that we believe that we need to take a particular pathway to get to that stuff or to have that particular thing that we want to have. And at the end of the day, when it seems like the storms of life knocks us off that path, we end up depressed, we end up completely confused, and we do not want to explore other aspects of life. So one of the things about decision making is you need to be flexible with your decisions. It means if the end goal is to be a successful man in Nigeria, it means that you are willing to explore whatever actions that will get you to it. So it doesn't matter if you bump onto the road that is very tedious and very bumpy. The most important thing is that you are willing to keep pressing for the end result, which is to be the most successful man in Nigeria. So take life lessons as an opportunity for you to learn, an opportunity for you to be a better person, an opportunity for you to grow out of the old ways that you have. I always say to myself that my financial woes have only told me that you have a lot of money management problems that you need to deal with, and I am open to learning and building myself in that aspect. And I expect people to handle their failures or to handle whatever setback they have as an opportunity or an avenue to explore better ways of doing it and not give up. It is so easy to give up. It is so easy to be depressed. I say this a lot and it might sound insensitive, but I was depressed for 6-7 months of my life, and it was simply because I did not want to look at any other option. I felt like my life had ended. I felt like I was already at a spot and I couldn't just see myself leaving that spot. Not because I couldn't embrace life in a more positive way, not because I couldn't just look at all the lessons that whatever thing that happened had taught me, but because I felt like that was the easiest feeling, that was the easiest emotion that I could wrap my head around. That was the only thing I could think of, to just stay there and be miserable. And most of us act like that. Most of us tend to feel more miserable after we've taken a wrong decision. But the wrong decision is not always bad. It is not always wrong, because the truth is, what is important is the end result. And it doesn't matter how many times we fall, it doesn't matter how many times we crash, it doesn't matter how many times we feel like we have ruined our lives. What's important is we keep pressing, we keep pushing, we keep looking at that end result, looking at what the goal is, focusing on what exactly it is that we want. So if we adopt this new approach towards things we do, it means that we will not be worried about making the wrong decision or choosing wrongly, because we know that every pathway we take in life is an opportunity for us to learn. It is an opportunity for us to grow. So if you're in a particular phase in your life where you're stuck with options and you're not quite sure, or you're so scared that taking these options might actually be the end of it, most times it's okay to just do it and then be open, be flexible enough to take the corrections that happens if eventually it turns out bad. But sticking around a particular phase of your life forever and going in circles because you're so afraid of going outside yourself is something that we need to deal with. I'm going to use my sister as well, who is someone that I also look up to. When she was stuck with us, living in a family house and everything, my parents tried as much as possible to cajole her into not moving out, even when she sincerely wanted to move out. And she kept telling them that she was ready to take up whatever responsibility comes with moving out. And that even came to a point where my dad said he would no longer financially invest in whatever thing she does. And she really did not flinch to all those things my parents said. And she's on her own and leaving the responsibility, taking care of the responsibility of whatever thing this hard decision has brought to her. So it really doesn't matter what your decisions are. What's important is, what is your goal? Do you know what you want? Do you know what the end result is? What exactly is the goal? What exactly is that thing that you want? The human spirit, like I have come to believe and I have come to understand, is unstoppable if we put ourselves to the things that we want and see it as the only way out of life. Like, we have so much internal power and willpower, but we tend to suppress that a lot because we do not want a situation where we do something that is completely wrong and then we have to deal with that. Not saying that you should not carefully evaluate whatever options that you have before making your decisions, but do not let the fear of losing anything be the reason why you do not step out of your comfort zone, because most times your success is never within your comfort zone. Let me know what you think about this episode, and like I always say, you can always leave me a voice message and I would definitely respond to it. I try to leave my email address, and you can always email me whatever response you have or whatever challenge you have, and you might actually need me to help you with anything. I am willing and open to listen to whatever thing you have to say as regarding this fear of making the wrong decision. And as always, guys, thank you for listening. Please share. Please send it to someone you know who is struggling. Send it to anybody who this episode might be helpful to. And as always, I am thankful that you tuned in today. Stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.